Hello, this is Rudolf Kremers. I am the director of Omni Systems Limited, a little games company, indie games company, and I am going to talk a little bit about the gameplay mechanics of our cyberpunk RTS Neopolis, recently announced to come to PlayStation 4 and PC. Right, so this video is really to put some context to a blog post that I wrote about how the mechanics of this game are a little bit different from the traditional RTS, although it still offers the same kind of deep strategy that people are looking for in these kinds of games. And I think the best way to explain this is to just talk you through how a game unfolds and how it plays. So let's go do that. Right, at the start of the game you have a HQ, and attached to that HQ are a bunch of grid runners. It's a gang, basically. These are the two-tones. They got big bass guitars with which they shoot confusing bass rays. Now, in this game, your units are the gangs. Here they are. And there are various kinds of gangs in the city. So you don't build factories or training academies to create new units or anything like that. We don't take that approach. Instead, you have to go out into the city, and what is normally covered by that whole loop of resource gathering, factory building, technology tree unlocking, all those kinds of things, we don't really do that in the traditional sense. We do similar things, but we've just put it all into the environment, into this cyberpunk setting. So hopefully I can show you how that works. But we do have fog of war, because some of the traditional mechanics still work really well. And you have to go out over this road system. You can only walk on the roads to start to explore the city. So let's have a look. Let's go over here. Whoa. Okay, someone in that building. See if I can get out. No, I didn't make it. Let's have a look. Okay, now we've uncovered, or the scout has uncovered, a building. And in Neopolis, buildings are super important. Every building is unique. It has stats to do with how many occupants there can be, how long it takes to enter the building, to leave the building. There's a damage modifier, so anybody who is in this building range, this green block here, while there are occupants in the building, will get shot at, and a certain amount of extra damage will be done in this particular example, 2.5 times. So this is right on my doorstep, and we can't have that really. So I'm going to send some people to attack this building. So your units, when they die, they get replaced by rookies. That way you always have the same amount of units that you start out with when it comes to your core player HQ. And I'll talk in a little bit in a little while on how to get more different unit types. Right, these guys are attacking the building. Guys and gals, I should say. And the building has health, and once that turns to 0, you evict whoever was in the building. They're all stunned for a little while, and they really have no chance. That one was scared. Right, that was a quick and dirty fight. So now I'm out there. What can I do with this building? There's no more enemies in there, so I'm going to grab a bunch of these guys. You can tell, by the way, they got little. Some of them have dots over their health bars. That means that they are leveling up. So these units you start out with, they actually evolve over time if they perform certain tasks or survive fights or take down stronger opponents. All these things give them experience points, and the further they level up, the more abilities they can unlock as well. So units are not static as such. Right, you saw the guys going into the building. and that actually now allows us to do certain things. So in this case, this building can be turned into a dojo or a hospital. Let's make it a dojo. You can also search the building for power-ups. Let's give that a go. See, this is under construction now, and in a little while that will turn into a dojo icon, and once that has been achieved, there we go, and everybody in the building will start to level up. Sadly, there are no power-ups in this building, and that's okay. We got other things to do. Right, so this is quite important. Terrain really matters. Throughout the city you will find other buildings and you have to figure out how to exploit them, but also you can control points in the city by defending them really heavily. Like I said, everybody who walks into this green range box is going to get attacked, and since this road is the only road that leads to my HQ, I have to make sure it's well defended. But there are other things you need to do. You need to find out what else is in the city, because since we have no factories and we don't do any resource gathering as such, we need to replace that mechanic with things you find out on the grid. So this person here I sent into a jet bike that I just found lying around here. Jet bikes are pretty quick, as you can see. Here we go, which is a really nice and fast way to explore the city. Oh, there's been a fight there. I think you can see some smoke. I'm going to go over here actually and have a look. A tank. Clearly my opponent is doing things. I better hurry up with this demo, I guess. I'm going to send this bike somewhere else, uncover a little bit more of the city. Let's go over here. Right, now we've seen a few things along the way. What we have here, this is a turret. It's smoking. Must have been destroyed. Here's a van coming my way. A huge tank. These are all things you can find, and if your opponent hasn't found them yet, you can take them over and add them to your unit list. Well, clearly we're too late for some of these already. So what I'm going to do instead is take my scout and let them explore a little bit further, and tell you about how in this game we deal with adding new units to your forces. Let's have a look. Right. Here, as you can see, I found another building. This is a whole new gang. Ooh, I'm being under attacked. That's that tank most likely. They got too close to this defended building. Now you can see how effective it is there to actually have defenders in this building. This van is now empty. So what I can do is I can send somebody inside, take it over, and I'm going to take this van. It's very slow because it's damaged, and I'm going to drive it back to my HQ. In the meantime, my jet bike has been destroyed, but hey, you win some, you lose one. So, right, while this tank goes back here, I'm going to talk about what I was doing when I got interrupted, when my jet bike got destroyed, is that throughout the city you find other gangs. In this case, these are the coyotes. This is an unaligned gang. They don't really do much except protect their own turf. But if I attack this building and I take it over, then I can start to control this gang as well. And this is quite important because basically every gang is a specialist unit. These guys are really good against some opponents. They're much faster, but they're very weak individually, yet strong in a group. Since I have no factories to build new units, I have to go out there and start to conquer some of the enemy territory. So this is not your human opponent, this is just an AI aspect. Now here I see that my actual opponent is doing the thing that I was about to do, which is attacking this gang. Now let's see if we can still do something about that. These people have leveled up to their max by now. The max that this building allows them, I should say. So I'm going to evacuate them. Here we go. Straight into a fight. There. I'm going to take a bunch of them. Send them here. Oh, look, my opponent is taking over this building. I want to steal it off him. Or her. There. This is getting a bit dicey. Here we go. Now, the AI in this game is very independent. They will decide with quite good intelligence what to do when they arrive at a position, and in this case they will attack whoever is there. I'm also going to send some people to attack that HQ. There they go. In fact, there's not much resistance here, so I'm going to take down the health of this building, hopefully before reinforcements come, and make it my own. It's going quite well. When it's 0, now lay siege. There we go. This is now my new HQ, my second one. And as you can see, I've got a button here for my original HQ over here. And over here, I now have my second HQ. And that means I can now control these coyotes here. Here are the last few survivors. They'll get replaced in a minute. And they are very fast, very good at certain things. So I can start to use them in the same way that I normally would use specialist units. This tank is starting to worry me quite badly. Right, so let's get those guys over here. So now you can see how it's possible to find new vehicles. Here it is, the one that we talked about earlier. It's been repaired. You find buildings that you can exploit and occupy. You can designate the buildings to give them a different function. You can take over HQs of underlined gangs. That gives you new units and grow your forces. And then there are other things in the city as well, like you got these barriers here that you can control to change the layout, and there's quite a lot of other specialist stuff you can find. This one here, for example, is a hospital. If I quickly need to heal creatures, I should enter that building. I quite like the fact that this turret here is not defended. So I'm going to try and enter it and add that to my tally as well, because that's a very powerful piece of kit. There we go. It is very slow though right now because it's so damaged. So I'm going to have to send it back to this HQ to repair it. Right, so either way, this is a short explanation of some of the ways in which we take core RTS mechanics, like resource gathering, base building, technology trees, things that I'm not saying every RTS has them, but a lot of RTSs do, ever since the days of Dune 2. And instead of having these things in menus and as standard choices, we've kind of cleaned it all up and decluttered it and put it all out into the environment, which also makes it so that terrain is super important. Oh, as you can see, there's an extra element of risk here now. Not only can I lose control over this HQ, let's see if this plays out. If the enemy does a successful siege, they haven't. But if they had done that, then suddenly everybody that I was controlling in that building would turn against me. That's a nice little bit of gameplay there that you don't really get in most other RTSs. Here's my tank. As you can see, it is slowly healing. And given time, I can do the same with this bike here. Let's park that into the building range as well. There we go. Once that the bar goes to 0, and remember this is pre-alpha user interface graphics, it's going to look a lot better. But once it reaches 0, that turret is going to be fully repaired, and will be quite a formidable weapon for me. Let's see. There. That should be okay now. That's it. Oh. Here we have one of the enemies coming. Anyway, this will play out for a little while. But hopefully that sums up how we're handling the replacement of traditional RTS elements and putting our own spin on it. Thank you very much. Till next time.